It's almost 11 o'clock in the morning. Again, I haven't really been doing much today. Pulled the tarps off of the roof where I inadvertently melted, and there's actually one of the tarps has got a really big hole, so I've had to cut up some plastic, double-sided plastic, tape it all up, so at least I've got a little skylight now. Hopefully that'll do. So yeah, I'm gonna have to find some wire so I can hang the ducting instead of having it running over the roof structure and resting on top of the tarp, which I knew it should be hanging. Yeah, I'm gonna have it hanging so it comes off and everything else. Where the exit is, it's not so hot, so it hasn't affected. It's only right at the corner part where the ducting goes like that, and it's just resting on it. That part there is the hottest. But that's all repaired now. I'm just going to put the roof back on and everything else. And everything seems to be. This is the trouble. When you're using jute, it loosens up after time. It's not a great building material. That's for temporary structures and for quick tie-ups and everything else. But I'm still surprised, even though my shack is still quite solid. I'm still surprised how it's all kept together. I was looking at ways to redesign the fire pit. I still need more bricks to make it more effective. But as I say, you know, this particular spot is in a wind trap, so when the winter comes, I'm going to get really big blasts of wind coming through. So I'm going to have to re-insulate the inside of the shack, and so that requires more tarps. Or if I can do a thermal silver foil. If I get some clear plastic, some spray adhesive, silver foil. So if you get the clear plastic sheet, spray it, silver foil on top of it, then it acts as a natural reflector. It will act as a reflector for anything that comes on the inside. So if I just layer the inside walls with the silver foil, which is also quite cheap, you know, so. It's not ideal, but yeah, you can always find bits of plastic anywhere, and spray adhesive, and sticks it together, and you got it. Yeah, you got yourself a makeshift life. What do you call it? A life blanket, you know, a thermal blanket. Yeah, you could do quite a lot with just bulk standard cheap Tesco's, Sainsbury's value silver foil and everything else. Yeah, but the whole point is making sure that there's proper ventilation for the smoke to come out of the shack. So it's like any shelter you do, you've got to have proper ventilation, and you've also got to also insulate yourself from the cold, because you don't want to be waking up every 2 or 3 hours to stoke the fire. So you need to be able to get like 2 to 3 inch logs, about 3 foot long. If you're in a small, you know, 1 to 2 man shack, they'll burn for about 2 hours, 3 hours. So you know, you get enough of them on, they'll burn hopefully most of the night. You may need to do a stir and a re-stoke, you know. Depends on what time you want to get up in the mornings and everything else. I've always found that the sweet spots, any season, the coldest times are between 4 and 6 in the morning. Winter, 3 to 6, they're the really coldest times. So this is the time when you may need to have a fire going to last you into that. So you go to bed at sunset, you have your fire going, you're nice and cozy. Or you stove going, and you know you get yourself some sleep, and then you've got to re-stoke the fire. But again, you need an adequate supply of wood for that as well. So, I mean, so I've got a bag. I just battened up a couple of logs like this, all dead full, and then well, dead standing. Some dead full. It's nice and dry. A log like that keep you warm for an hour or so. It's not a lot, you know what I mean? Especially in winter when you're talking about 2 months of really cold weather, cold, wet, miserable, snowy, whatever. If we have snow this year, which I think we should be in for it. So you've got to get yourself prepared for it. And I've been looking at winter or 4-season sleeping bags again. They're really expensive. They're big and heavy and really expensive. So I'm going to go down to see a seamstress. So I've got some, I could pick up some fleeces. They're quite cheap. And if I could just, I could just about darn a sock, put a button on a shirt. I mean, I might have a go myself. I mean, if I get some knitted sewing needles and everything else. I mean, I found that the one thing that really gets to me is not so much, hey, you can always wrap up ears, but feet. Feet always seem to get cold, even in winter. So I've got a fleece and I doubled it up and wrap it around my feet, put it in the sleeping bag, and it's nice and cozy. Except that it needs washing now. But what I wanted to do is double that over. So with 3 fleeces, I can make an internal sleeping bag. So I just double one over and then stitch it together, then put 1, 2 and stitch them all together and make it a nice big sleeping bag. So an internal lining, you could say, to fit. So you get into that, go into the sleeping bag, and I won't have to spend 40, 50 quid for another sleeping bag for 4 seasons and have that hanging around. I just keep a nice small fleece all tied up, which you can, roll up together with the sleeping bag. Because they do compact, and if you've got a decent compression bag, you can, get them. You can get them, put it all in together as one. Or wrap it up with your sleeping mats. If you've got one of those backpacks with the tie on, so you can attach your sleeping mats and other accessories to do. Oh, that reminds me, I've got to use all these buckles I've got and try and do some repairs on my backpacks. Another job I've got to do. My little brook is still trickling, still flowing, but it's trickling, but I can see the sediment is really rising. So I've got these drainage pipes, I cut them up, and what I wanted to do is just make a sort of like barrier and then to keep my well sort of nice and deep, and so it's easier for me just to flow out all the sediment and everything else. I've got to think about. I was thinking of running a hose. If I ran a hose from my well and got a hand pump, sort of one of those hand pumps, like for when you got a fishing tank and you use one of those hand pumps. I could just sit here, pump that. It might be an idea, I don't know. All I need to do is just run the hose up over the top of the tree, actually, and then once it goes over the top of the tree, just let gravity feed it. And when I wanted to stop it, all you have to do is just raise it above the line, and then it stops the flow. I was thinking of that, but I was just also thinking that if I did that, then when the water goes down, it will also drag all the sediment with it. And, it's just kitchen roll is expensive, I was thinking of popping down to the pet shop, you know, an aquarium. They got them in Knights, I think, as well. Some Knights garden centres have nice big aquariums, and they do these, like, you know, micro filament sort of like bundles for filters, for actual filters. Oh, I was just thinking to myself, would that be an alternative? Because you could take it out and just wash it all off and put it back in again, you know. I'll have to think about that, because I don't think they're going to be cheap either. But that's only good if you've got a constant flow, you know. That sort of expense only if you've got a constant flow of water all the time, all year round. And I don't know, maybe I've got to stop feeding these animals. It's getting quite ridiculous now, because every night there's something rummaging around, you know. It's more than something rummaging around. My squirrels know, they like the raisins they start to eat the raisins of peanuts now. My little mouse is quite happy over there, but it still comes into my shack. I've got bunny rabbits they're all, you know, they see me sitting here and they just get on with their business. I've still got my deer munching on the leaves, and I've got my little wren. I can't wait to see the little kids. he's nesting, definitely. So I don't know. And I've got all my wood pigeons. There's certainly quite a few of them around here as well. But I've got some bigger animals, apart from the deer. I know I've got foxes. I see them come round. If I'm sitting out here doing this, they'll just stand there staring at me, you know, over there in the distance. And then they just go on with their business. But late at night, sometimes 2 in the morning, it's always rummaging around my shack, so digging and rummaging and everything else. And it's quite loud and heavy, so it's quite a large animal, I would imagine. So I would imagine it's also probably something to do with the badger or something else like that. I don't know what other species we have around here that might be rats. Could be rats. But then again, I haven't seen any rats at all in this whole area. They stick to the cities, you know. Yeah, rats in the cities. This is. Yeah. I'm going to get off on a political rant. Anyway, like I said, I've just chore day again today because it's overcast. It's chilly start this morning. It really was a chilly start. But I can see some black clouds. Yeah. So I've got to get this roof back on. Sort that ducting out. I've got to find some wire. I've got bits. I found a big pile of wire, but it turned out to be just little cuttings, and someone had just tied them all together. So with a little bit of ingenuity, I can make my own wire and everything else. I've got some pliers and everything else. And let's just get ready for the rain. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think this spot is quite good. The rest of the area, you know, where I was before, it was, when it rained, my first camp there, it was hard to find a dryish piece of ground. I mean, when it rains, that whole woodland is one big virtual bog. So I'm actually quite glad I'm not in there. Although the spot I had chosen, the river runs. You can mistake them for footpaths and everything else where people walk, but they are actually the way the water flows, and it just bypassed the camp and went into ditches or went elsewhere. So the spot I had chosen was a good spot, close to the water collection and everything else. And there he is. He's been out. I wish I could get a picture of this, you know, but it's a small little bird, and he's really quick. And I need a decent camcorder, like I say, to be able to catch it, you know. It's yeah, so that spot would have been, it was nice, but as a sort of medium long-term survival situation, it wouldn't have been good. But this particular spot also, I've got the main river brook going down this way, and it's very boggy where the rushes are and everything else, but then it dries off around this area here. This is probably why it's so full of ransons and other plants and everything else. But it gets, from this little patch I'm on, it then drops down a little bit more. So I'm a little bit raised here. It's still slightly slopey, so it allows for the water to flow, but I'm still slightly raised from the rest of the area, so it all just literally bypasses me and goes into the meadow, into the brook, feeds the tributaries and everything else. So I'm quite happy with this location. And of course, I don't know if you can see it, I've got a huge patch of blackberries there. So I've got some blackberries coming. I might go foraging. I know where there's a couple of apple trees now. Some Granny Smiths, and I've got some big. I don't know if they're the chicken of the forest or something. I've got some big mushrooms, the fungus growing on some of these trees here, and also in my little brook I've got some more fungus growing off of the rotten logs on the side there. So once I've ID'd them, I might give them a go. If not, you'll never find me. I'm dead. The wind blows that way, so people walking over there won't be able to smell me. Might be a while before they find the remains. Like I say, I just love this spot. It's, again, apart from the traffic. I mean, most of it you can drone, you just blank out, ignore it. But every now and again you'll get some idiot on a motorbike, and then you'll also have some idiots in cars and everything else with the stupid horns. And of course, there's sometimes the big trucks as well. They make some god-awful noises. So you're sitting there, you're listening to the constant drone and everything else, and you can hear a car going clink, 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 oh. And you hear another car going, there's something wrong with this transmission. You can tell what's wrong with people's equipment by just listening to the sounds. But yeah, I don't like the way those clouds are building up at the moment. Anyway, it's chore day today. I've got a nice big bag of wood. Once I get that going, I'll have something to eat. I've had biscuits. Bless them, at the food bank, this is it, you see. I know there's, because they dish everything out according to your status, so you're a single man, you're only going to get 9 kilos of food, which tins, which weighs quite a lot. It's not a lot. You get enough basically for 3 meals. And if you get these things issued by government, you're allowed to have 3 vouchers in 6 months. So in 180 days, for 180 days, they give you food for approximately for 9 days. Yeah, that's government caring for you. Yes, there's lots of places. I mean, yesterday I went to I noticed the South Asian Army doing stuff like that, and of course, there's obviously a religious aspect to it. I did say to them, I am heathen, homeless. Oh, well, this is not really for the homeless, blah, blah, blah. Oh, God, there's rules and regulations. Doesn't matter what ideology you follow. There's still rules and regulations. everyone follows. Your entitlements, your eligibility for things, all that. It's everywhere you go, even in charities. You know, I haven't done any hunting and trapping for a while. It was just by luck. Not so much by luck. I got that squirrel. But, I mean, it's not in my nature to do that sort of thing anyway. You know, obviously, it's for survival means. You know, and I did it as just a reminder of how to do it. And again, it's like if I wanted to eat, there's plenty of rabbits around here, and they're easy, so easy to catch. If I wanted to eat, I can get eggs. All you have to do is be observant. Catching squirrels, easy. That's actually what I was thinking of doing. Yeah, I can't find it. You know, you can make a slingshot. I was going to make a slingshot. Obviously, this one's not very good. This one. I did have a better one earlier. So yeah, I was going to make my slingshot or a sling bow. I found bits of plastic tubing, small bits of tubing, which would be ideal for it to make a sling bow. And so I was going to just check these things out. If I wanted to go hunting, yeah, I could. There'd be plenty. There's plenty of food here. Yes. If I made, again, there's. I got a nice bit of. I got this lovely piece here. I think it's beech. It's not too dry at the moment. Well, actually, come to think of it, it is quite dry. But it is a nice piece, and if I look at it, with the right trimming, I can make myself a small bow. So I was thinking of giving that a go. But that obviously will take a little bit of work to do, and I don't really have the tools to do it. Yeah, I've got a hacksaw, I've got a saw, my knife and axe. Yeah, that'll take a little bit of time, and I've got to prepare for other things. What if, as I say, got to stock up on wood. But when winter comes, I'm actually thinking of going to. I mean, I'm going to try and spend some time in this shack, but I've got a feeling if this winter is going to be as tough as it might be, better than last year's anyway, or worse than last year's, which was nice. It was bracing. Oh dear, wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I have to stoke the fire up. Oh god, dear, it's good. And you've only got a 2-season sleeping bag and a summer tent. it's really good. Yeah, so I was just thinking to myself, this year I might spend more time in the other shack in the industrial side, because they've got structures already up there, and they've got lots of material that you can use to insulate and to heat as well if you're smart about it. So yeah, I've got to do that, but I've got to get some extra equipment now. Again, I don't have as I don't have any money. Tarpaulins, I know it's a lazy way to go about building stuff, but they're relatively cheap, and they're quite effective. As I said, there's debris now. But because I've built a shack that's head high, standing room, it's difficult. It's going to be hard to debris the whole lot. Obviously, if I can get a 30 to 40 degree angle on the side and put a layer up, but that just doubles the size of the structure, and you want to try and keep as anonymous as possible. So Okay, oh my god, 25 minutes. I'm sorry guys, I've nattered on for too long. I'm going to get on with my chores, get some water, get something to eat, because it's almost, it's 11:15 in the morning, so it's almost lunchtime. I've got to ration out the food, and I've got to do some more foraging, and I shall catch you later. Be safe, take care. The roof's back on, looks good, and my poor little rake keeps losing its little nodules and everything else, and the wood split as well, and took me a long time to burn all those holes in and everything else to fit the nodules in. It was just really good, but again, I've got to fix this, and I've got something a little bit more. I've been trying now, you see these drainage things, I've been trying to cut through this. Oh my god, where is it? Yeah. Where is it? Oh my gosh, I've lost it. It was just right here. Where on earth could that have gone? Oh, it's stuck inside. I'm trying to cut through this with just a hacksaw blade. Oh, it's a nightmare. But I'm almost finished. And I've got one of those like U-hook nails. I'm going to batten it and I'm just going to do that. So, I mean, I do have a hacksaw. I've got the hacksaw here, but you get to 1.5 inches, 2 inches, that's it. It's difficult to work any further. I can get away with it now because it's sufficiently. Still won't work. Start from the other end. Let's finish it off. Again, I've got a cheap Poundland hacksaw, I think it was. I don't know. They're all the same, aren't they, really? Oh dear. So that, I'm not going to do anything else to it. It's just going to go on to the end of this. And that will act as a kind of rake shovel as well, sort of thing. And I've still got that to act as the model. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put you on pause though, so while I do that, okay? Right, this is turning out to be a little bit more difficult than I thought. So these little things here, I don't actually have a hammer. They're very useful. Anything else? So I've got my Gerber. It's got the hammer part at the back. So it's really, really hard to hammer this into this plastic, or this whatever, because it's very, very tough plastic. Got my hand drill out. This was really difficult to do, but you can see it's just been hammering in the holes, and it's already bent my hand. And all I've managed to do is get not even halfway through. So this is proving to be a very, very difficult exercise. And just got to see if those two holes have made a difference. Just trying to. Oh God! And it doesn't help that you're going half blind as well. It's just punch through. Yes, almost. Yes, I'm through. Finally through. Just staple that onto that. Okay. half of it. It just doesn't want to go. Hey. This is why I was never good at DIY. Okay, that's the first part. Okay. I think I see the flaw in my plan here. Okay, but I suppose if I heated this over a fire, I could straighten it out a bit on this section here if I just pull it out. But well, actually, there's only one in there. If I just manage to get another one in, then that should be quite. And that'll just, yeah, that'll do. As you can see, let's see if I can catch it. Yeah, that picks up the debris quite well. So another makeshift piece of household equipment or gardening equipment. Oh dear. Oh, sorry. Right. Okay. That's another chore sort of out of the way. I'll put my stuff away because cutting that using the hacksaw is just bugging my hand up a bit, and banging that thing in as well. It's not that great. And I spilt a lot of these. What are they? Something staple. Staples, yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to put these away. Yeah, it's lunchtime. I'm hungry. I'm going to have something to eat. Catch you later, guys. 3. I found a pile of wire like this, and I thought, oh, that's a bit of a find. But it turns out that it's basically lots of little bits of strands. Anyway, I only figured that out when I got it home. But again, you don't want to waste it, you know. So what I've been doing is taking the smaller bits of strands, which I can't really use for too much. This is for hanging the ducting on, and I know it's plastic coated, so the plastic will melt, but it's still wire. So I've been taking the little strands and I've been joining them together to make one longer wire, and that will hold the ducting in place, tie it to a cross beam. So I'm going to get a piece of wood and tie it together like that, so it hangs off of that and it stays well away from the tarpaulin, at least a good 2-3 inches away from it. It's hanging low, so it's got to be away from the head height. But since I've been testing it out, you know, once the fire pit's sorted out, that actually the ducting, I know I wanted to have a shorter ducting to go straight out, but I was also thinking, well, a longer ducting will also generate the heat and will radiate the heat around the shack. So that's why I had the fire pit's in one corner now, and the ducting will come across and act like a heat shield, a heat radiator as well. So that's what that was the thinking. I was actually thinking of having it underneath the bed. So running it under the bed and everything else, but smoke rises. It doesn't go down and follow the thing unless it's been driven up by the heat, you know. So I don't know. If anyone's got any advice on that particular idea, I mean, because I know with the Dakota pit, you just have the in tube going in one way, and it should be smokeless. But you can also have a smoke tube going out the top. But you know, that works with varying amounts of success anyway. I mean, with the way I've got it at the present moment, yeah, I can cook. I mean, I built the fire pit. I built like a cooking place. So it's all functionable all in one, you know. And also you don't have to get right down low to do what you need to do. Again, I built a shack rather than a temporary shelter and everything else to survive. Again, like a lot of these temporary shelters, you build your raised bed, and they're designed for short term, very short term. You know, you couldn't hope to possibly survive more than a month in any of those places in those sort of conditions. I mean, I suppose you could if you had the right resources around you, but you know, a month in the snow in a makeshift shelter, minus 20 degrees, that's an awful lot of wood you've got to chop up to keep warm, you know. So if you don't have the right resources around you, it's going to be very difficult. So those sort of shelters, pits and everything else, temporary, get in and move on, find another location, move on. Here I'm trying to, let's see if I can do an entire winter, the rain, the snow, the cold and everything else until spring. So yeah, 2 seasons, it's autumn. I know I've been here for a while, everything else, but you've got to prepare for these things, I suppose. But one of the reasons, I suppose, why I've been so reticent about building the camps in other areas, or rather so lazy, and everything else too comfortable here. But it's because when you get to these places, you've got to build it straight away. You know, you wouldn't necessarily have the time to. Ooh, my wren just went right past me. I got a treat. I don't know if they. I've got some raisins out as well. The squirrels, they don't mind me if I'm in my camp, they come down. But that was nice. I've got some seeds as well. I don't know if wrens eat that or not. And I don't want to encourage anything else that comes out. Well, I'll try that out later on. Anyway, yeah, just got to make sure this is pucker for winter. This one, camp down in Red Hill, camp down in Nutfield as well. They're going to be survival for winter. Spend a week, 2 weeks in one, move on. Week, 2 weeks in one, move on. The big test though is down on the coast. Oh yeah. When I was younger, I did the Seven Sisters, all walking along, the whole south coast of England. Took 2 weeks, and we camped out. This was in November. Now, when I was a youngster, November was cold, you know. And when you see the water washing up on the shoreline and it's iced, that's cold. Anyway, yeah, so I'd love to do another winter, but I don't know if I mean, I could do it here in the woodlands because there's wood to burn. On the coast, there's very little wood to burn. Driftwood maybe, but that'll be soaked and salt. When it's salted, it's also difficult to make fires out of. But once you get them going, there's nothing like your camp, nice coastal fire. If you caught some fish, bang! Coastal camping I've always loved, and I've been meaning to do it so far, but money and obligations. Still, I'll get to do it this winter. Do one winter camp. That'll be nice on the coast. I had hoped for a summer one, but Dartmoor next year maybe. So Dartmoor, Cornwall. Anyway, I'm boring you. I'm going to get that, unravel all this wire and make some decent wire out of it. And hang that ducting so I don't end up melting my tarps again. because I really don't have any money to buy anymore, and if it starts to rain now and I've got my roof is full of holes, and I'm going to be mortified with myself for not thinking about it earlier. I knew it would happen, but the first couple of tests I only had simple fires. And this test was a bigger fire, you know, cooking, water, air, boiling, constant. Idiot. Anyway, I shall catch you later on, guys.